Like Dr. Craig, I did not grow up believing the sorts of things that I understand now. I grew up in a Muslim home, but we did not celebrate much of Islam except for 3 Eids. Now, if I say 3 Eids, some of you will laugh. We used to celebrate the 2 Eids that you know about, plus Eid Miladun Nabi that some Muslims do celebrate, the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad. And occasionally, we used to invite the Imam of our village to our home to recite the Quran in our home, so that we can hear the words of God. On some occasions, if someone is writing an exam and he wants to get the blessings of God for that occasion or something like this. And the Imam came and he read the Quran in the Arabic language. We heard the beautiful sounds of this wonderful book, but not much was explained as to the contents of this book. And eventually I became like one of those persons who had taken an exit from that highway. When I was about 14 years old, the Imam one day had come to our home, not to read the Quran for us, but to invite my father and my older brother to come and participate in the worship services at the mosque. And he spoke about God. And what he said to me had the ring of truth. He didn't come to speak to me, but I lingered around in the background and tried to hear what he had to say. And I thought that I should go to the mosque. I started going to the mosque, and I came in touch with some brothers there who helped me to learn to read the Quran some more. I had a little bit of background training prior to that from my early childhood days. And they started to explain to me also what is there in the Quran. They started sharing with me books that would help me to understand what Islam is all about. And the more I studied Islam, I realized that Islam makes sense. Now, I've always been a sort of a rational thinking sort of person. Well, okay, maybe you won't believe that. But I have this kind of curiosity to get to the bottom of things, to think, to study, to ask why. And I saw that, in fact, I can ask why about things in Islam. Maybe in some Muslim societies, people can't really ask why, but I found that I could actually question the text and I can get the answers from them. The more I studied, the more I saw that if I had a question in my mind, then the answer is there, either in the Quran or in the Hadith or somewhere, and in fact, the answers were convincing. When I came to Canada, I was only a young man at that. Well, I'm still a young man. And certain missionaries used to come knocking on my door to teach me another faith. And as we engaged in discussions, more questions arose in my mind. And I would stay up until about 2 o'clock in the morning reading books by Sheikh Ahmed Deedat. May Allah bless him. To try to get to understand these matters a little bit more. And the more I read these books, the more I saw that Islam makes a whole lot of sense. And that instigated me eventually to set up the Islamic Information Center so that I can share with the rest of humankind, to some extent, as much as God gives us the ability, this message of Islam. And I think if people have an opportunity to investigate Islam a little bit more, to look past the negative impressions that we get from the media and from the actions of some Muslims, then we will see that the essential doctrines of Islam actually do make sense. When we ask, who is God? It's easy to understand that there is only one God, Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth. If we ask, why did God create us? It is easy to understand that God created us for His mercy, and He gave us the freedom to freely choose to be in His mercy. If we ask, why are there so many religions? The Quran also explains that God sent prophets and messengers to all people so that everyone should have an opportunity to turn to God. So there's no problem here of what about people who have not heard. Everyone will be judged, the Quran says, according to what God has given them. So everyone has certain abilities, certain levels of understanding, and based on that, God is going to judge them, and His judgment will be just and righteous. And so finally, I'd like to invite all of you to investigate Islam, starting with reading the Quran itself, which is the source document of Islam. Thank you very much.